OK, now it's time to discuss some of the domestic players moving abroad. Curbs, there have been some players that have done it over the years, but not so many nowadays. Why?
Well, I think it must be a culture reason that the English players, British players don't really go abroad, and I think we've seen our really big stars in recent years, you know, the Gareth Bale, etc. But it's obviously I don't think we're ever going to reverse the trend of the foreign player coming to England to play their football. Well, I think because firstly the culture side of it, I just cannot imagine Wayne Rooney pitching up in Italy and having the whereabouts and the know-all to cope with it. You know, Ian Rush went out there some time ago from Liverpool, and I think, you know, that he found it very, very difficult. And it is a culture thing, because surely it's not a financial thing. I mean, obviously if you go to Real Madrid, Barcelona, their finances, but really if you're playing at the top clubs in England, I don't think there's much in it in terms of the finances. So it's really the standard of football, is that different? Or is it the standard of living and your lifestyle?
So basically you're saying the financial rewards in this country
are just the same.
If not better, Paddy.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I remember talking to a few years ago to a player from you know, one of the lesser known Central European countries, a good player, and he said that his ambition was to get into the Championship. He said because that's probably the 5th highest paid league in Europe, and he didn't think he'd be able to get into the Premier League. So it's English football generally is so the wages and so on are so inflated, even below the Premier League level, that of course we're not going to get a big net outflow. That said, Tottenham have signed this season Eric Dyer, who got great experience because he was brought up in Portugal. He's English qualified, England under-21, regular England under-21 player. But of course he's gained all his experience with Sporting Lisbon, one of the best educations I would have thought to be available in Spain and Portugal. So that's going to be very, very interesting, and I think it's beneficial. I do think that the Bale is a different category, but Real Madrid and Barcelona are as well known to any kid, whether he plays football or he's just a fan, in Europe as you know, you'd know as much about them as you know about Arsenal. And so, the entourage that you can afford at that level, you can take your family over if you want.
But I'm just thinking, Paddy, that if it's not a financial thing, that the foreign club is better for the English player because it's not a financial thing, and it's not the league because everyone's saying that the Premier League is the best league to be in, then it's got to be a cultural thing.
And what about this then? What about the foreign clubs aren't interested in English players?
Well, that may be one of the reasons, maybe because they know they don't settle very well. You know, the last thing you want is an English player to go over to Spain, Italy, or whatever.
Are we technically good enough to go and play in those leagues?
I think we are. I think we are. I just think that it's the player's choice. They don't particularly want to go. They don't particularly want to settle in another country.
Well,
I think the foreign player
who followed you, Jason, through the ranks at Chelsea, you know, went on to play in Germany and seems to have benefited.
There's a lot of lads that go out on loan. I mean, Vitus Arnhem is one of those clubs that Chelsea used to. Could that be a way around this? The lads going out, the young lads going out on loan to get experience?
I think it'd be very good for them, but not just. I don't know if Curbs would agree. I think not just as footballers, but as human beings. You know, it's the more experience of life you get. I mean, I may be wrong, but I think maybe footballers are too sheltered from outside life these days compared with the ones of maybe when you were playing.
Well, let's add that to managers, because how many managers, English, British managers go abroad to manage? You know, and I do think there may be a change in that one, because I think the English manager, the British manager, are getting squeezed out of the Premier League. You know, because of the influx of foreign managers. You know, there's talk that David Moyes may well go abroad.
It works for Steve McClaren.
Steve McClaren. So I think you may see perhaps an upgrade, you know, an upsurge in managers and coaches going abroad. But I still don't think we're going to have a mass exodus of British players going abroad.
Well, Ashley Cole has just gone out to Roma, of course, released, his contract expired at Chelsea, and he did say that he feels as though English players are in their comfort zone. Well, yeah, it's a bit rich of him, you know, when his best days are behind him. But has he got a point?
I think he has. I think Italy, in a sense, is a different kettle of fish. I think we often see when the very, very top Premier League teams play the very top Serie A teams in Europe, that there's a couple of yards of pace that means that the English team has an advantage. Not every time, but it is a quicker game. I think the truth is that Ashley has found his pace.
Perhaps another interesting one for the future. I think if we are going to see the English player going abroad, America. That's where they're going to go because of the language. There's no language barrier, no cultural difference, and I think you will find, and the way the Americans are trying to upgrade their league, I think that if there is going to be more English players, British players going abroad, it will be to America rather than Europe.
But will the Americans want our young players? They want Frank Lampard, they wanted David Beckham, but will they actually,
once it's established,
are the Americans not producing as many good young players now as England?
But I think once the MLS becomes really established, I think you may find young English players that can't quite get the opportunity, not make it, the opportunity to play in the Premier League, because it's so difficult. I think America may be a destination where a lot of English, British players go to.
OK, you've heard what Alan and Paddy have had to say. Give us your thoughts on why you believe domestic players don't go abroad. Many ways of getting in contact via the website www.FootballFan.Zone. You can tweet us at @TalkToFanZone, that's the number 2, or you can email us talk@FootballFan.Zone.